Hi folks, for those new to my guitar channel, my name's Stu and this channel has been for a few years a record of my guitar gear journey, having been away from performing and recording for over 40 years. So if you get the time, do check out my channel videos and equipment reviews on all the gear that I've been trying out, and you might just find some of those helpful. Now, in a previous video within this series looking at popular guitars used in blues rock in the 60s and 70s, focusing in on, first of all, it was the Telecaster, and that was followed by a video on various types of Stratocaster, so do check those out if you missed them. Now in this video, coming up, number 1. A guitar I've always been drawn to, but I could never get to grips with it. And number 2, another absolute icon of blues rock, the Les Paul. And I take a look at a number of different types used back in those early blues rock years, and a Gibson inspired model that might be an alternative for some of you. And number 3, if you can only have one Les Paul, which one would you choose? And number 4, conclusion, final remarks. So without further ado, number 1. So I've previously mentioned my first electric guitar back in the early 70s was a Japanese Telecaster copy that would get replaced by a Japanese Stratocaster copy. However, one guitar that always got my attention in my mother's catalogue, they sold imported guitar copies from the Far East, and this would eventually be known as the lawsuit guitar period. Anyway, it was the Les Paul that would always pique my interest, and a day came when I actually bought one. And despite it being a lovely guitar to look at, and well, I'd got so used to playing a Stratocaster with all its quirks and nuances, I just couldn't get to grips with the Les Paul. It's such a different feeling guitar, and I promptly sold it. Now, as my playing and performing years continued, I would later on go on to buy other guitars, Gibson guitars, but I never picked up a Les Paul again until a few years ago. Number 2. So remember, the series is about classic guitar types associated with the 60s and 70s era, and specifically those types used in blues rock guitar. Now, when I was learning in the early 70s, Les Pauls, they were much sought after, and they were divided into either the 50s or 60s models. And for those on a budget, there was the Les Paul Junior and Special models. Now, there was another Les Paul guitar type, but it would fairly quickly become known as the SG Standard. I won't go into the history of why that happened. Now, as mentioned in previous videos, yes, you can buy guitars made by the manufacturers who do a good job producing instruments that, well, they seek to emulate classic Fender and Gibson guitars at more affordable prices. I would say do bear in mind that inexpensive humbucking style pickups can often sound disappointing. So to start, here is a modern build 1950s Gibson Les Paul Gold Top Standard. These have a chunky maple neck and rosewood fingerboard, and in this case it's fitted with P90 pickups. These pickups do have a distinctive tone, and the 50s guitar with its chunky neck does have a classic feel to it. While it's certainly popular for blues music, if the P90s are given a bit of a push, either with an overdriven valve amp or a boost pedal, this will turn this guitar into a real rock and roll machine. Now, from my personal perspective, this 50s model is a joy to play, and it's got a lot of character. But similar to the 50s era Telecaster, I would say this is not a guitar type for everyone, and P90 pickups are definitely not for everyone. It does have a very distinctive feel and tone, and you would really be best to go and try one out before looking at a classic 50s style build. Now here is a modern build custom shop top 1960s Les Paul standard, and it has a slim taper neck profile with a rosewood fingerboard and fitted with burstbucker pickups. What's a custom shop top, you ask? Well, it's just Gibson's fancy way of saying that the maple cap is handpicked, and here you can see that the guitar does have a very nice flame figuring to it, depending on how you hold it to the light. Now this guitar is a real joy to play, and it sounds fabulous. It has a thicker tone than the 50s model, and depending on how you set the volume and tone controls, it's a versatile guitar, whether you're looking for clean, crisp tones or driven hard for rock. And frankly, this guitar will do both very easily. The Les Paul guitar model actually had a difficult time in regard to sales at one point, but as the rock music scene evolved, it would go on to have many adherents: Jerry Garcia, Mike Bloomfield, Jimmy Page, Peter Green, and I'm sure you can think of many more. Back in the late 50s and early 60s, Gibson also introduced a more entry-level style of Les Paul guitar. And here I have a Gibson Les Paul Special double cut in that classic TV yellow, which sports a fairly slim neck and rosewood fingerboard. Again, it's fitted with P90 pickups. These are custom P90 pickups. This particular series was aimed at the student guitar market in both the single cut and double cut styles, and fitted with either one pickup, the junior model, or two pickups, the special model. Now for me, back in my early days, I had come across both the Les Paul Special and a similar budget guitar, the Gibson Melody Maker, but alas, I couldn't afford either, and they were also actually quite rare in my neck of the woods. Now, owning this Les Paul Special today, it brings back memories for me, and it's a really nice guitar to play. It really does have its own vibe. Now, I've done a video comparing the Gold Top P90s alongside the Specials Custom P90s, so if that interests you, do check that out. Now, once again, I would say it may not suit everyone. It does have its own feel, and once again, P90 pickups do have a particular way of responding in regard to how you play or what you're playing through. And again, I would advise checking out these type of guitars in a store, particularly if you're new to guitar playing. Now, my last point on this particular guitar is a custom shop model made to look and feel like an original 1960s Les Paul Special in TV yellow. So it's not inexpensive, and also they can be difficult to find, or at least find one that's not been beaten up. Now, you can, of course, get a Gibson standard base model in either the single or double cut versions at a much lower price tag, and also under the Epiphone brand as well, although there are slight differences, and those guitars are finished in a polyurethane type coating as opposed to the nitrocellulose lacquers. Now, here I have a Gibson-inspired guitar, and so inspired and named after the president of Gibson, Ted McCarty himself. This is the Paul Reed Smith PRS S2 McCarty 594 double cut, which bears a little resemblance to the Gibson double cut special. The body and neck are mahogany with a rosewood fingerboard, 22 frets, and those classic PRS bird inlays. The pickups are 5815S, and these can both be split using the split coil feature. It's a very comfortable guitar to play, whether sitting or standing, and it does have a certain amount of body sculpting. The fingerboard and fretwork is all very smooth, very easy to play. All in all, it's just a very nice guitar to hold and to play. Does it have the classic Gibson vibe? No, for me it doesn't. However, I find it very useful in my recording studio projects. So, from an entry-level perspective, the Les Paul, like the Fender Stratocaster and Telecaster, is one of the most copied guitar body designs in the world. And you've got a lot of choices if you do want one. Now, in the previous Telecaster video, I showed you a T-style guitar that I built using parts secured from various vendors, and the result was a guitar that easily rivaled a Fender custom shop model, and it plays beautifully, looks fabulous, and cost a lot less than a standard USA Fender. If you want to build a Les Paul style guitar, then the principle is similar, and you can buy kits that use bolt-on necks like the Fender designs, or you can buy a set neck design where the neck is glued into the body. Now, if you're new to DIY, I would recommend the bolt-on method, because if any adjustments are needed, then that will be an awful lot easier to do. Number 3. Is a Les Paul guitar model right for you? And if you can only have one Les Paul, which one would it be? For me, the 3 Les Paul guitars I've illustrated have their own sound and feel, and real or imagined, there's something very special about all of them. For me, they are just a joy to play, and again, each guitar causes you approach them differently. Now, aside the more obvious differences, if I were needing to make a decision about keeping only one of them because of my recording needs for a versatile guitar, then it would need to be the 60s standard with the burst bucker pickups. So number 4, conclusion, final remarks. So once again, yes, you can use just about any guitar to play all kinds of music, but this video series is specifically about those interested in what gear was typically used back in those early days and seeking that 50s, 60s, 70s vibe. Is the Les Paul for everyone? Well, at one time, I liked the look of them, but they just didn't fit my playing style at that time. Today, 40 years on, I really enjoy these particular guitars. And if you've not tried one, then do get along to a store and try out the different models to see if any of them suit you. Now, all being well, in the next video we take a final look at a couple of iconic Gibson style guitars of that early blues rock period that you might want to consider. Do check out my channel playlist, where you'll find many videos regarding my journey back to playing and recording guitar after that 40-year break. Lots of stuff on guitars, amplifiers, pedals, and my ongoing recording journey. As always, I really do like to say a big thank you to those who take the time to comment or chat. I always take time to engage with folks who take time to comment. So, until next time, do take care.